Hello. In this video, we are going to talk about evaluating a linear function from its graph, retaining two word problems. So this graph shows how the number of crates of screws that Underwood's Construction has left is related to the number of houses that the company builds. So again, looking at my X and Y like we did in the last video, my X is the number of houses built. So X equals amount of houses built. And my Y is the crates of screws remaining. So Y equals crates left. And they're left over. So the question is asking us, at most, how many houses can Underwood's Construction build and still have 500 crates of screws left? So they are asking us to find how many houses can they build. So they are asking us to find X when what is true? Well, they're asking us what is X when they have 500 crates of screws left. So this is my Y. So Y is equal to 500. So they're asking when Y is equal to 500, what is X? How many houses can they build? So I'm going to look on my Y-axis at 500 because this is where on my graph it is when they have 500 screws remaining, 500 crates of screws. So I'm going to look to see where my graph is at this point. So I'm going to look on this line and I see that my graph hits right here. So we want to know what the X value is at that point. So I read my X value. I'm going to go down and we will see that my X value here is 100. This is the point 100, 500. So this tells me that they will have 500 crates left over if they build 100 houses. So the answer here is 100. All right. This graph shows how the number of spools of thread that Trudy has left is related to the number of shirts that she sews. So let's look at my X and my Y's. So my X looks like the shirts sewn. So X is equal to the amount of shirts she can make. So X is the amount of shirts she can make, and then my Y is the spools of thread remaining. So Y equals spools left over. And you don't even need to know what a spool is to answer this problem. It's just a way of packaging thread, okay? We know X, we know Y. The question is asking us, how many shirts can Trudy sew at most and still have 30 spools of thread left? So they're asking us, how many shirts can she sew? So they're asking us to find X, because X is the amount of shirts, when she has 30 spools of thread left. And let me forgot to change colors. So she has 30 spools of thread left. That sounds like a Y value. So this is when Y is equal to 30. So I'm going to look on my Y-axis where we have 30. and I'm going to find what my graph is doing at that point. So I look and my graph is right here. And our goal, remember, is to find the number of shirts that she can sew and have 30 spools left. So I'm going to look at my X value here, and my X value is 20. So this tells me that she can sew 20 shirts and have 30 spools left over. And this makes sense because the more shirts she makes, the less thread that she has. So our graph is doing this as X goes that way and Y goes that way. So let's see if I can find a trickier one. Oops, let me enter the answer first. All right, this graph shows how the distance Valeria has cycled depends on the number of trips she has taken to work. So my X is the number of trips to work. So X equals trips to work. It's the number of trips. I'm going to put that. And then Y is the total distance cycled in kilometers. So Y equals kilometers cycled. The distance she has gone. So they're asking, after 3 trips to work, how many kilometers will Valeria have cycled in total? So they're asking, the question that we need to answer is how many kilometers? So they're asking about X, or are they asking about Y? Well, kilometers cycled is Y. So we need to find Y after 3 trips to work. So if we have 3 trips to work is related to X. So here we want X to be equal to 3. So I'm going to look on my graph where X is 3. And I notice, or excuse me, I am looking at where Y is 3. We want to look at where X is 3. I was like, that just isn't going to work very well. So where Y, no, yeah, X is 3. I'm just getting myself backed up. We don't know Y, but we do want to know what Y is when X is 3. So I'm going to go on my X axis to 3. So here's my X axis, here's 3. And then I'm going to figure out what my graph is doing at that point, what my function is doing. So I'm going to follow this line up until I hit my graph. And it looks like we hit right here. And this is in between 5 and 6, right? So here, this is like Y is equal to 5.5, right? In between 5 and 6. And then our unit, of course, is kilometers because we were talking about Y. So Y is equal to 5.5 kilometers. And we hit submit. Let's see what the hardest level looks like. Okay, we did this. So let me know if you have any questions or any concerns about this section.